Hey everyone, this is Eddie, and welcome to this review of question 3 of the California bar exam that was administered in February of 2018. And let's go to question number 1. And it reads, if Michelle sues Lynn regarding his continued use of the smokehouse, what claims, if any, may she reasonably raise? What defenses, if any, may he reasonably assert? And what is the likely outcome? Discuss. So let's go to Michelle's claim. So we have private nuisance, and I think everybody got that. So that was great. And of course, a private nuisance is a substantial and unreasonable interference with the use and enjoyment of land. And there you could have gone either way. Many facts to base your analysis off of. For example, the locality. She enjoyed the mild climate. And also, Michelle found that the smoke was very annoying. And some of her guests complained and she stopped having parties. And of course, you could do the counter argument. Hey, Len was an excellent chef. So again, it could have gone either way. And as far as defenses is concerned, you could have mentioned the abnormally sensitive plaintiff. And abnormally sensitive plaintiffs are unlikely to succeed in their claims for private nuisance. And here we know that Michelle spent most of her time outdoors. So Michelle, what's going on here? Again, you could have analyzed it either way to draw your conclusion. Let's move on now to trespass to land. And what are the elements there? You need an unlawful intrusion that interferes with the real property of another. And of course, a trespass can occur with more than just the trespasser's body. For example, an object can go into the land of the other person. And of course, there in the facts you have smoke and odor coming from Lynn's smokehouse. So again, that could have gone either way, and you could have used the facts and the reasoning as before. So far so good, right? But something is up. So you can never relax here with the bar exam. You always gotta stay alert here. So let's go on to question number 2. And that reads, if Michelle sues Lynn regarding fetching his dog, what claims, if any, may she reasonably raise? What defenses, if any, may he reasonably assert? And what is the likely outcome? Discuss. So there we have trespass to land, and we already discussed the rules there. And here are the facts tell you that Len had frequently invaded Michelle's patio to retrieve his dog. And also, Michelle put up a no trespassing sign and even wire between the parcels. And what did Len do? He entered anyway. What has happened there is that the examiners are saying, hey, look, it's obvious that there's trespass to land. But we want you to discuss the defenses. And what do we have there? So now we're going to advocate for Len, all right? We're going to say, hey, Len, we're going to do this for you, man. We're on your side. So here we go. So you could have mentioned prescriptive easement. And there were many facts in the hypothetical that led to that being a defense. For example, for continuous use, you had Len going into the neighbor's property, and he even admitted to doing so. And as far as the adverse hostile element, Len even cut wires and violated the non-trespass sign. And here it was up in the air as to whether the statutory period was met, because Len said that he had been doing it for 10 years, but the facts do not tell us what the statutory period is. So you could have had a dual conclusion. For example, if Len meets the statutory period, then he will not be found liable. To the contrary, if he does not meet the statutory period, then he will be found liable. Then you move on to the next claim that Michelle can raise. And what is that? It is trespass to chattel. The defendant must intentionally interfere with the personal property. And of course, I'm going to just emphasize the word intention, because it seems that all these torts here are caused intentionally. And what did Lynn do to make Michelle want to raise this claim? Well, Lynn went ahead and cut some of the wires that Michelle placed on her property. And again, the question does want us to address the fences. So we are going to address the fences. For example, you have private necessity there. And that is when a defendant intentionally enters in land to protect their own interests. And of course, then it's going to say, hey, I'm retrieving my dog. However, that is an incomplete defense to trespass to land. What does that mean? It means that Lynn will still be responsible for damages. So Lynn is going to be responsible for at least the harm caused to the wire fence. And before I go on, I do want to say thank you to the bar candidate that reached out to me and he said, hey, can you address negligence? If you guys want me to address any other questions for these upcoming bar exam reviews that I'm going to do, just send me a message at jurexbar.com and go to that contact option and I will read your message. And this bar candidate said, hey Eddie, can you address negligence, man? What do you think about that? And here's what I think about it. Like I said earlier, we are dealing heavily with the element of intent because we have the area of intentional torts and we also have the area of negligence. And negligence is not based on intent. And here you have an overwhelming showing of words that indicate intent. For example, in the hypothetical, you find words like frequently, continuously, and other similar words. Now contrast that with negligent action, and the harm can be caused by a lack of reasonable care. So that does not amount to intent. Now let's go on to a second reason as to why I will not discuss negligence, and that is because of the type of damages that are found here and in other examples that the bar has tested in the past and also in most actual court cases. For negligence, there is usually a single damage causing event. And again, this event most of the time only occurs once. Now contrast that with the facts here. Again, there is a heavy showing of intent on the part of Lynn. Moreover, when you analyze negligence, you will evaluate the conduct and the cause and the damages. And there, what is the question? It is the question of what the standard of care is and whether there was a breach of that standard of care when that single damage causing event occurred. And what do we have here? We have repeated violations. For example, Lynn rebuffed her request. Lynn was trespassing for the duration of at least 10 years. That is just entirely intense on the part of Lynn. And that is why I did not address negligence. And if you address negligence, I just hope you also covered the other sections here, the other main issues. Okay, let's go on to question number 3. Is Michelle likely to prevail in her argument for additional compensation from town? Discuss. Hey, Michelle's smart, right? She's like, they're going to take away my property. I want to get paid more by the government. Hey, Michelle, hey, it's worth a shot, right? So here we go. What is the rule there? The government may not take property without just compensation. And of course, the taking must be for public use. Now, general rule is that just compensation means that the government must pay the fair market value of the property. And also, courts can apply a comparable sales approach. So they'll look at real property of comparable parcels and then determine the market value for property that was recently sold. So a sale that occurred 2 years ago, definitely 3 years ago, is too speculative. That will not be recent. What do we have here in the facts? It says that the government tendered as compensation a sum substantially exceeding the prices of comparable parcels recently sold in the neighborhood. So Michelle should be thrilled that she's receiving a sum that substantially exceeds the prices, but she is not thrilled. Now again, the government will use recent values to calculate the market value. If the valuation of the real property occurred 2 or 3 years ago, that is beyond the scope of the term recent. So here, Michelle is not going to prevail on her claim that she should be given more money because the amount that was offered is less than what she was offered a few years ago. Michelle is going to lose in this argument. This ends the review. I wish you all the best. The review of question 4 is coming soon.